Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to you brothers that's out there pushing forth the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and our faith, truth, and sincerity. This is naturalnews.com. The title of this article reads, Anthony Fauci joins Bill Gates in calling for digital certificates of coronavirus immunity. Now I'm going to bring out some information in this article to prove that this digital certificate that these devils, Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci, are speaking on is nothing more than the RFID microchip, which according to the Holy Scriptures is the mark of the beast. If you understand what the ultimate goal of the New World Order is to get everybody chipped. And the proof of that is a guy named Aaron Russo spilled the beans because he basically had a conversation with one of the elites, Nick Rockefeller, who told him that the ultimate goal is to get everybody chipped, okay, to gain and maintain total control over the people, okay? That's the ultimate goal. And these devils have stuck to their motto of the New World Order, which is Order Ab Chaos, problem, reaction, solution. They've created the problem, which is the coronavirus. They've got a reaction from the people, which is pretty much fear and discomfort, which is and will get even worse. And eventually they will come in with the solution to everybody's problem. Now, reading some of this article, it says, in lockstep with Mr. Microsoft Bill Gates himself, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases head Dr. Anthony Fauci has signaled that Americans will eventually be able to return back to normal after the Wuhan coronavirus crisis ends. But this will probably only be the case if they agree to get vaccinated and carry around digital proof of vaccination everywhere they go. So they got everybody on hostage and they're telling people, no, you can't come out your houses yet and get back to normal until all you people are vaccinated. Okay? And then once you get vaccinated, you're going to need digital proof. Okay? You're going to need records. It's going to have to show in your records that you've been vaccinated. Now, I've got another article from ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. The title of it reads, FDA approves implantable chip to access medical records. So this so-called digital certificate that they plan on coupling with the vaccination is nothing more than the RFID chip, because they needed a way to get people to take this chip, but not exactly force it upon the people. They had to put people into a state of fear first, so people will voluntarily take this chip. Okay? People fear getting this coronavirus, so they're going to go out and get this so-called vaccination, which is going to, in their mind, help them. And then right along with receiving that vaccination, by default, automatically, they're going to have to take a implantable chip. Now, it says, starting at the first paragraph, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved VeriChip, an implantable radio frequency identification device for patients, which will enable doctors to access their medical records. Okay? And we've been speaking about this for years, starting with our apostles of Great Millstone on down, that this chip, which is the mark of the beast, is going to contain all of an individual's information. All right, aside from how much money you have, your bank accounts, your likes, your dislikes. On top of all that, you're going to have your medical records. Okay, medical records. Now, the second paragraph reads, doctors hope that the use of the device will result in be better treatment for patients in emergencies or when a patient is unconscious or lacks medical records. Some people have raised fears, however, that it could lead to infringements of patients' privacy, but the minute that they mandate this vaccination on top of the chip, no one's going to care about their privacy being infringed upon because the fear is going to be so great amongst the populace. Okay? Between them creating the problem and coming with the solution, they're going to fan the flames. They're going to fan the flames of the issues that resulted from this virus. Okay, which is pretty much economic collapse. Okay, race wars, a famine, a lack of food and water. Okay, those are the issues that they're going to raise before they come in with this chip. So people, this chip and this vaccination, so people are going to voluntarily take it so that they can receive security and safety. They're going to be willing to give up their rights of security, their rights of privacy, okay, for security. And I believe Benjamin Franklin had a quote, if an individual is willing to give up his freedom, okay, and his rights for security, he deserves neither. Okay? And this is why it's important in these times to be in the spirit. Because if you don't understand that this is all of a setup, you're going to fall for the okie doke. And not only are you going to be harmed by these so-called mandated vaccinations, okay, you're also ultimately going to receive an ultimate judgment. All right? Which is, according to Revelation, the 14th chapter, hellfire, okay, which is going to come by way of thermonuclear destruction, okay. Now, continuing on, it says the chip is the size of a grain of rice and is implanted under local anesthesia beneath the patient's skin. It's implanted. And what does this remind you of? This reminds you of Revelation, the 13th chapter. As a matter of fact, I'll just bring it out. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So it says he calls it all. Remember, this is a global pandemic. Okay, this is a global, it's a global pandemic, but this is also a global transformation that they're trying to make, right? So they're going to try to administer to the whole world a miracle vaccination, and that miracle vaccination is going to be coupled with a digital certificate, which is basically proof that you received that vaccination. And it's going to come, like I read back in the article, in the form of a chip, okay? Because the chip has the ability to store your medical information. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, let's go into this word mark just to prove this last point, that the chip will indeed be used as the digital certificate to store an individual's information. This is the word charagma for the word mark. We go into it all the time. It says a stamp or imprinted mark. In the Thayer's definition, it says a thing. Number 2, it says a thing carved, sculpture, graven work. Because in order for you to receive that chip, it needs to be implanted, like we read in the article. It needs to be imprinted also, like it tells you in Thayer's definition number 1, an imprinted or an implanted in a person's skin. Okay, via a needle or a palisade, because the root word of charagma is charax, which goes back to sharpen to a point. What's sharpen to a point? A needle or some type of injection device. Okay? It says a palisade, a pale or stake, a palisade. Okay? Palisade. Now, it says akin, in the Strong's definition, it says akin to G1125, to the idea of scratching. Let's go to G1125. The Greek word is grapho, Strong's definition, especially to write, describe, write. There's definition, to write, with reference to the form of the letters, going down to number 2, letter D. It says to write to one by writing, to give information or directions. What information? Your medical records, the digital certificate, the certification that you have indeed received that vaccination. That information is going to be stored on the chip. Okay? Grapho. All right? It's going to be, it says, right, it's going to be written, but it's going to be digitally written. Okay? They're going to be able to get some type of scanner, scan your hand, and your information is going to pop up digitally. Written information is going to pop up digitally on a computer for them to view and see and say, okay, yeah, they received it. Going back to the scriptures, but we try to constantly tell our people, because through the spirit power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the Lord revealed this information unto his servants, the prophets, and we're pushing it out to our people as well, so that they can be warned and know that you need to trust in the Lord and to never trust your enemy, okay? Because he's setting you up for the okie doke. He's setting you up to destroy your temple by taking these vaccines. But ultimately, if you take the vaccine by default, you'll have to take the chip. And if you take the chip, which is the mark of the beast, you read Revelation the 14th chapter, you're going to die by nuclear missiles, okay? So to end it off, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Because we know this devil's agendas, we know his devices and his plans at the end of the deal, okay? And we're blowing the whistle, we're blowing the trumpet, so our people can understand and know these things as well. At least Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, because Satan is certainly trying to get an advantage over us, man, through mass witchcraft and deception, okay, which is all on his media, all on his media platforms, man, okay. So at the end of the deal, we know about this man's plan, and we're not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his agendas. We know the ultimate goal, okay. So with that, hey, I'm gonna close it out. Hopefully this was edifying. These digital certificates at the end of the day are nothing more than the RFID chip. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.